What you may not understand is that my star is elevated and I can't be regulated because my greatness has been negotiated. My path is my creation, and regardless of adulation, each step I take is filled with gratitude and elations. You see, this journey I am on, try to lower my greatness, there are no negotiations. Hello everybody, how you doing? This is your Coach M.A.R.I.N.E. So are you ready to rise? Yes, you are. You see, what we're going to talk about today is going to give you that thing that you need. It's going to provide for you what will allow you to rise above your current state, to rise above the standards that others may have set for you. It is going to give you that ability to really elevate yourself to a level that you'll break through that glass ceiling. You'll break through the glass ceiling. Now here's the thing. Have you ever looked around and you notice that there are people who are very sad? There are people who are depressed. There are people who are living lives that should make them happy. You see, someone has a lot of money, they have cars, they have houses, they have fame, they have people around them, they have marriages, they have family, they have all the trappings that you believe should make a person happy. But yet, they're unhappy. They give themselves into drugs and alcohol. They give themselves into poor relationships. They allow people to come in and steal from them and then steal their trust. And then they sometimes ultimately end their lives, unfortunately. But then you see a couple walking down the street. They don't have a car. They're dressed very ragtag, kind of, sort of. Their clothes are very well outdated. If you go to their house, you'll look at their house and think that there's no way that I'm going to go inside that house. It's an impossibility that I would actually even live in that house, and that there is absolutely no way that these people should be happy. But if you spent time with them, you will see that these people have more happiness and joy than most people have in their entire lives. You'll see that they manage their money in a way that makes them happy, that they see the world differently than you do. And that's what it is. It's the perception. The difference between a person who is happy and a person who's not is their perception. It's their state of mind. That mental state will allow you to rise or to allow you to fall. Now, most of you believe that you're in a rut, that you're stagnant. There's no such thing as being stagnant. You're either living or dying. You're either rising or falling. You're either going to the right of the polarity scale or you're going to the left of the polarity scale. The law of rhythm, you're in constant motion. You're constantly swinging one way or the other. The law of vibration is everything is in motion and moving. So in order for you to change your life, in order for you to rise up, you got to change your mental state. Now, as a Marine, I'm going to use some of the Marine Corps training and techniques and mindsets that will allow you to be able to make this leap in your life. So as you see, Marine, we're going to break it down into an acronym. What is that acronym? The M, Marine. The M for Marine is for my mentality. My mentality is the most important aspect of you building the life that you deserve to have. If you're the kind of person who wants to have an amazing life, then you will have to become the kind of person that is always working on your mental state. If you're not working on your mental state, then it will not be to your benefit. Let me give you an idea of how your mental state, of where your mental state may be. This is an exercise that Tony Robbins used to do a long time ago. So I will hope if you're not driving, you can only do this if you're not driving. You're in a room, you're okay. Now, if you're in a room that you're very familiar with, it may not work as well, but it'll still work very well. So what I want you to do is real quick, without thinking about it, I want you to look around the room real quick and find me everything that's brown. Everything that's brown that's in the room. Look for everything in the room that's brown. Everything in the room that is brown. Now stop. Close your eyes. Now with your eyes closed, I want you to tell me everything in the room that is blue. Now I want you to tell me everything in the room that's green. Now tell me everything in the room that's red. Now open your eyes. Now with your eyes open, Tell me everything in the room that's blue. Now you see more blue things now, right? You can see those bottles, you see blue tags, you see blue labels, you see shirts, you see paintings, you see blue. You see green, there's green in the room. Look around you, look behind you, there's green in the room. There's red also all throughout the room. Now what I want you to notice is that you didn't notice the brown. You didn't notice the other colors. You didn't know the blues, the greens, or the red. You noticed the brown. So if you have a perception, if your mental state is that everything is brown, then that is what you're going to see as you go through your life. You're going to see everything that is brown. If you look for brown, you'll find brown. If you look for red, you'll find red. If you look for green, you'll find green. So being able to understand where your mental state is, understand your perceptions, that is what causes you to rise or to fall. Now we're going to go through a few things to help you to develop that better perception. The first one that you have to do is acknowledge yourself. Acknowledge if you're the type of person that looks for everything wrong with a situation, or do you look for everything that's great within a situation? Or if you're the kind of person that looks kind of down the middle, you're kind of like a realist. But here's the thing, there was a study done that shows that people who have a realistic idea of life usually hit every point of realism. While those who are overly optimistic, they usually fail at reaching the level of optimism that they believed that they were going to hit. But the difference is, if the realistic person hit here and the optimistic person was looking to hit here, the optimistic person still would hit here, further along than the realistic person. So it is better to be an overly optimistic person, not actually hit your goal, but still be further along than most of the people who are realistic. And of course, if you just look for brown, that's what you're going to find. So what I want you to do is start to acknowledge who you are. Start to dig deep into your own personal mindset, your own personal psyche. The deeper you dig into acknowledging who you are, the more you'll be able to recognize what you need to work on, what you need to change, what needs to be eliminated from your life. Now, once you start doing that deep digging, and that was the A for Marine, we're going to look at the R. And the R is your reasons why. Your reasons why. First, we want to look at why you are the way you are. Once you understand why, you can start making changes, because the logical part of your brain will then say, well, I understand now why I did this, but this doesn't make any sense anymore, so now I can start logically changing my life. When you understand why there is something in your life, then you can understand how to make a difference in it. Then look at why you want to make those changes. Why do you want to have this other opposite part of your life? If you're a person who did not know love, why do you want to know love? If you was a person who did not have money, why do you want to have money? If you was a person who did not want to have friends and a crowd around you, why do you want to have friends and a crowd around you? Understand your why. If you work from a point of why, then you will be able to be more successful in achieving what it is that you want to have in your life, and it'll allow you to rise up once again. The next one is the I, information gathering. The I for information gathering means that you are a person who is going to seek out the knowledge that you need. You see, too often we think that we can just make a decision that we're going to be a certain type person. We're going to make a decision and we're going to start a business. We're going to make a decision that we're going to have a husband or a wife in our life. We're going to make this decision. But we haven't went and done any research. We haven't gotten any information. We have no idea about the path we should be taking. You see, my path of 1,000 steps is my path of 1,000 steps, because I seeked out what is the first step. I need the information. What should I do for the first step? Now I need the information for the second step. Now the third, the fourth, the fifth, and so on and so on. And as I continue on my path in my journey of 1,000 steps, it shows me that. Now, if you just take steps without information, if you just move along a path, then you have no idea where that path is leading you, because you haven't done the due diligence. You haven't measured twice and cut once. So you need to go through a process of gathering information for whatever it is in life that you want to rise up in, that you want to change. Because if you don't, you're going to find yourself down a path, realizing that it was the wrong path, having to go back, maybe to the beginning, maybe halfway, and then reorient yourself down the right path. But you will be responsible for the consequences of everything along that path. Let's try to avoid that. The N in Marine stands for negative influences from other people. Negative influences. There are so many negative influences that are around you. Unfortunately, there are more negative influences around a person than there are positive influences around you. That is just how it is. But there's a beauty in it. There's a beauty in it. One of the things I love about the Marine Corps is that we quickly can take a negative and utilize it as something positive. You can do the same thing now, even more so than the Marine Corps. As an alchemist, as a metaphysical alchemist, one of the things that I realized and learned a long time ago is how to take in a negative emotion, and then convert it to a positive emotion. Oh, it's not easy. It's not something that you just turn a switch on from day one. It's something that you progressively have to learn to do. Just like any alchemist would have to do. It's a process of going from lead to gold, but being able to take an emotion from lead to gold, from sadness to happiness, from hurt feelings to joy, is a process of learning. But it can be done. It's the same way that if you had a negative situation that happened to you, like there are women who were raped and they took that rape and turned it into a girls' organization to help other people, other victims. There are people who was dead poor and they turned their level of poverty into a situation that helps other people come out of poverty. So you can use a negative to move you to a positive in the physical, but to be able to do it as you're in a mindset and you have to start with your emotions. Be able to take your emotions, turn a negative emotion into a positive emotion. By one, we've already hit one aspect of it. Finding the good in that situation, finding the silver lining. Finding the joy in standing in the rain. Being able to do that will allow you to be able to become a metaphysical alchemist and change every state of mind by changing the emotion. You change what something means to you. You are changing what every aspect, every emotion, every feeling, every thought, what does it mean to you? By changing that, then you will start to get rid of the negative influences. And this is also a literal. Sometimes you just got to get rid of negative influences of people around you. There are certain people that must go. They must leave your life. And I understand, pitter-patter to your little heart, but they're going to be all right. Now, before I leave that one, there's one other negative influence that you may have in your life, and you may not like this one. And I know it's a very painful thing, but some of us, our diets are incredibly poor. Now, what you put into your body is going to determine how your body responds and reacts. How does it heal itself? How does it respond and move when you want it to jump, when you want it to run, when you want it to climb something, when you want it to have energy to be able to handle a task, when you're feeling overwhelmed and there's a lot of work you have to get done, but you've been constantly consuming processed and junk foods? Your body's going to tell you that, sorry, you don't have the energy for it. Where will you find yourself then? So I'm not telling you that you have to go on a vegan diet. I'm not telling you that you have to stop eating everything processed food. As a former personal trainer, I never told my clients that they have to cut everything out of their diet. But we do have to be conscious of what we are putting in. There are foods that are just negative influences inside our body that we just need to stop eating. Your body can't rise up if you are sitting there constantly pouring poison into your body. So there are certain foods we need to leave alone. There are certain diets that we need to leave alone. There are certain diets that people are jumping on to lose weight that really we need to leave it alone. And yeah, we do need to cut the amount of meat that's in our diet. We need to cut the amount of processed foods in our diet. We do need to get our bodies in an alkaline state. Not too alkaline. There's some people, they go overboard. Their body is so alkaline that they're poisoning themselves in that respect. So we gotta get that happy 7.4 to 7.56 range of alkalinity within our body. So you do that. Most diseases, pretty much every disease, can't live in an alkaline state. Okay? So we gotta get rid of those influences, those negative influences. And the last one for the Marine, as far as how we are able to be, is the E, and it's the most important one: execution. At the end of the day, your ability to rise up is based on your ability to execute. You can take all the information I just gave you. You can regurgitate it. You can go into your office. You can talk about it. You can be like, yeah, I'm on it. Gonna change my mental state. I'm gonna change everything around me. Gonna elevate my lifestyle. I'm gonna rise up. And then you do absolutely nothing. If you do absolutely nothing, then your life will remain the same. If you want to know why this year looks like last year, it's because you're doing the same things this year that you did last year. There may be some subtle changes, but it's still the same thing. If you want to know why the relationship you're in now is similar to the relationship you were in the past, it's because you did the same thing to get that relationship. You're being the same person that was in that relationship, and that's why you're going to keep getting the same relationship. If your money is the same, how many of you, come on, be honest, talk to me, come on, I'm listening. How many of you have gotten a raise, and then 6-7 months after you got the raise, I'm gonna give some of you a little bit more time, a year after you got the raise, your finances were no better. You just got a 10% raise in your income. And before you got that raise, your lifestyle to income ratio was, say, 80-20. You get a 10% raise in income. Your lifestyle should change. It should be more like 75-35, 70-30. It should be more something like that. But somehow, it's still 80-20. But for some of you, it changes to 90-10. How is that? Because you have the same financial habits that you had before you got the raise, and you're gonna have the same one as you get raises. I know people who started out making like $30,000 a year, did certain things to change their lives in order to start making $100,000 a year, but they are in just as much debt as they were in when they had $30,000 a year. They are sitting around counting every penny and trying to figure out how they're gonna make it, just like anybody else who's making $30,000 a year and they're trying to figure out how to make it. It's because they have the same financial habits, the same financial execution. How you execute a change in your life, a change in your mental state, will determine what your results will be. Now, as I told you guys before, I may not be a mainstream kind of transformational coach because I am about getting results. I only care about getting results. That's what I want for you. I want you to have results because just like a phoenix, and the reason why I love the phoenix, because a phoenix will die of his old self, trample on the body of his old self, and then rise up out of the ashes of his old self. So we have to die unto ourselves, stomp on our old carcass, and then rise up as a newborn phoenix and go out and then become what it is that we were supposed to become. Become the great person that you are supposed to become. To know your greatness is non-negotiable. That is what I want for you guys. And if I can be of any help, I'm here to help you. If you would like to join my mastermind group, go over to the Facebook page, or if you're already on the Facebook page, and join the 360-degree transformational mastermind. If you're only concerned about business, then join the business mastermind group, and we will be able to work together to change your life. Now, this is what I'm offering for you. If it's for you, great. If not, great, but find somebody that can help you. Now go ahead and subscribe, and do one more thing for me, subscribe. What you may not understand is that my star is elevated and I can't be regulated because my greatness has been negotiated. My path is my creation, and regardless of adulation, each step I take is filled with gratitude and elations. You see, this journey I am on, try to lower my greatness, there are no negotiations.